I think for the most part, the Rangers' top six might be pretty much, similar to what we saw last season with having Panarin, Trocheck, and Lafreniere as that kind of line one, you could say. And then line two possibly could end up being Kreider and Zibanejad, which will more than likely stick together. But then you could have a guy like Riley Smith on that right wing. That third line there is where things get very interesting for this New York Rangers team. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at kind of three potential third line options we could see for the New York Rangers for this upcoming season. I thought it'd be kind of fun to take a look at that. Kind of my three lines and options for that third line there, as well as take a look at pretty much every single left wing, center, and right wing option for that third line that is kind of realistic, counting some prospects as well. So let's get right into it here, starting off with all the potential left wingers I think could possibly end up on that third line to start this upcoming season. And this list of left wingers is in order of most likely to least likely as well. So definitely in the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts here. But starting off with the left wingers here, we have Brennan Othmann, I think has a very good chance at making this team for opening night. He could possibly get in the top six there alongside guys like Kreider and Zibanejad. I think more than likely they'll go to Riley Smith there, with Brennan Othmann finding himself somewhere on that third line. The next guy we have here is Will Cooley, then Jimmy Vesey. Then I have a couple prospects here in Brett Berard and Adam Edstrom. You could probably swap these two potentially. I don't know if Brett Berard's always going to make this team, but Adam Edstrom there and Brett Berard definitely going to be guys fighting for that spot somewhere in that bottom six. I think Edstrom's more of a guy who can play, left wing, center, and right wing as well. So a little more versatile, maybe a little more NHL ready, you could possibly say. But I think Edstrom's more of a kind of, fourth line, possibly third line guy, where a guy like Berard there is pretty much only like a third line kind of role on this team, I think, if he's going to make this team for opening night. And for the centers, it's a lock there. It's going to be Philip Hedl. The only way he's not that third line center, in my opinion, is if he is, having more concussion issues or gets injured a different way. That's the only way I don't see him being that third line center. And the other guys are possibly going to be, Adam Edstrom there because he can play left wing, right wing, and center, and also possibly a guy like Johnny Brodzinski. I think Sam Carrick definitely could play on that third line, but I think they'd probably put guys like Brodzinski or Edstrom on that third line over a guy like Carrick potentially. Maybe he would be the third line guy and one of them would be that fourth line center, but I think Carrick is more likely just going to be kind of locked into that fourth line center spot unless a bunch of injuries happen. I'm guessing he's that fourth line center there where we have a guy like Edstrom or Brodzinski can be that kind of, extra third line centers to help with that depth, which is definitely a need there as well. We are kind of lacking a bit on the center side of things there. In the coming years, we have a ton of great center prospects who are going to be ready potentially for the 2025-2026 season, but as of right now, those are kind of the extra centers, in my opinion, Adam Edstrom and Johnny Brodzinski. For the right wingers here, we have a guy like Kaapo Kakko, who I think as of right now is probably going to be that third line right winger. He could get in the top six there possibly and knock down a guy like Riley Smith and more to a depth scoring kind of role on that third line, but I think he's probably going to be in that top six there with Kakko on that third line right wing spot. Then we've got like Brennan Othmann there. If you want to have a guy like potentially Brett Berard or Will Cooley on that third line left wing spot, you can have a guy like Othmann there playing on the right wing, which is kind of nice there. Definitely can play both sides, left or right side, so has that versatility. We also have a guy like Jimmy Vesey there. Again, he can also play left wing or right wing, so can fit either side there. Adam Edstrom, very versatile forward as well. And a guy like Riley Smith there, like I said, could possibly end up being on the third line there, but more likely will be in that top six role. And next up here, let's take a look at three of my most likely scenarios, in my opinion, for the New York Rangers third line here. I have three different lineup combinations for the third line, but also definitely comment down below your lineup combinations for that third line and some other lines as well if you want, but definitely comment down below whether you disagree or agree with some of these lines. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Let me know in the comment section down below. But starting off here, for the first option here, I have Brennan Othmann, Philip Hedl, and Kaapo Kakko. I think we could possibly end up seeing Kakko in that top six potentially, but more than likely, in my opinion, and kind of what I'd rather see is Kakko on that third line there alongside Brennan Othmann and Hedl there. I think that could be a great third line of some young guys. We'll have a pretty solid two-way game as well, bringing some physicality, especially with Brennan Othmann there, but also having a pretty good, potentially scoring kind of third line there if Kakko can get back towards that kind of 2022, 2023 season. Going to put up 40 points there. Guy like Othmann has a good shot there, really a great shot, honestly, especially that one-timer. He's also a pretty good playmaker as well. Great kind of all-around offensive threat with a lot of energy as well. Pretty high-paced, kind of fast-paced game that he kind of plays there with the physicality. Might be a pretty good fit there on that third line. And a guy like Hedl there as well. And Kakko, I think that could be a pretty great all-around kind of third line defensively, while also being a pretty good one offensively potentially as well. And I really do think that first option of Othmann, Hedl, and Kakko is the most likely kind of by far scenario of the third line for opening night as of right now. And for my second option here, I don't really see it being very likely at all. It really only happened there if a guy like Kakko ended up getting traded away, sent down to the fourth line, which I don't see happening, or possibly ended up missing games for whatever reason. He would just have to be kind of out of the lineup as a whole. But taking a look here at this lineup combination here, which I don't see happening, but definitely could be a possibility if Kakko was not in the lineup or on that fourth line, we could see Will Cooley, Filip Chytil, and Brennan Othmann. Othmann can play both sides there, which is quite nice. So maybe kind of takes that third line right wing spot. Chytil as a center, which is no surprise. But a guy like Will Cooley there, I think, is a guy who definitely could play on that third line and is that kind of a caliber of a guy. He's still very young. We know hits a ton. He's a very physical player. Plays a decent kind of two-way game there. Hopefully can kind of develop more of an offensive kind of game at the NHL level, which we haven't quite seen yet. You know, they just had his rookie year there. Didn't produce the greatest offensively in the regular season or in the playoffs, but I think it's a guy with a bit more to offense to his game that we have seen so far, and if he can take that step, definitely could be a very good kind of two-way third line there while playing a very physical game. So that third line of, you know, Cooley, Hedl, and Othmann could be pretty good there, but like I said, what really only happen there if a guy like Kakko is not in the lineup at all or possibly on that fourth line, which I don't see happening. And now for my third option here, it could possibly end up looking like Brennan Othmann, Filip Chytil, and Riley Smith. This only happens here if a guy like Kakko obviously ends up kind of earning that top 6 spot somewhere there, whether it is alongside guys like Kreider and Zibanejad, which I think would be more likely, or possibly could end up seeing, I know a lot of you kind of talked about this, and that is seeing a guy like Lafreniere go alongside guys like Kreider and Zibanejad, and then have a guy like, you know, Panarin and Trocheck alongside a guy like Kakko, potentially to kind of, you know, spread out that scoring a bit there. Not a bad idea. I would rather see, you know, kind of that the line of Trocheck, Panarin, and Lafreniere kind of stick together, but might not be a bad idea either, especially if a guy like Lafreniere can really kind of help drive that line alongside guys like Kreider and Zibanejad to really kind of help take their game to levels that we've seen in the past there. Might not be a bad idea at all, but this kind of happens, like I said, if Othmann, Hedl, and Smith, if Kakko gets in the top 6 there, which wouldn't be a bad idea, kind of spreading out the scoring as well to that third line there, dropping a guy down like Riley Smith there, who I would definitely say as of right now, especially offensively, is a clear better player than a guy like Kakko. Hopefully Kakko can take that big step forward offensively, maybe he can in that top 6 role potentially. Obviously, we haven't quite seen that yet, but maybe it happens this year. I would love to see that. If not, though, either way, kind of spreading out the scoring there, really kind of putting in a really great offensive third line of Othmann, Hedl, and Smith, which I could definitely see all those guys in a full season together on that third line, potentially hitting, you know, 40-plus points each there, which could definitely provide some great overall kind of depth scoring there, especially if a line of guys like maybe it is, you know, Kreider, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere possibly. If that was the, you know, second line there, that could end up being a really great line as well, especially if Lafreniere could really kind of drive that line and help out offensively with guys like Kreider and Zibanejad, which we know in the past have been absolutely phenomenal players, but alongside a guy like Lafreniere now, we really saw him take a big step there, and obviously, yes, it was due to the fact that he was playing with better guys, but he also got more ice time there, and really himself looked a lot better. So maybe he can really kind of drive that line there potentially, which would not be a bad thing at all for this New York Rangers team, which definitely need to see guys like Kreider and Zibanejad get back into form there and definitely perform more like what we've seen in the past. There, obviously, Kreider still had a pretty good playoff run offensively, you know, scored a lot of clutch goals there, especially in Game 6 there against the Carolina Hurricanes, but there definitely is a lot more to this team than what we've seen so far, and hopefully other guys takes a big step forward as well. We could possibly end up seeing a lot of other combinations as well, so definitely in the comment section down below, let me know your thoughts on your favorite kind of third line combinations for this upcoming season, but also definitely hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more New York Rangers content. Once we get closer and, you know, into the season, I'll continue to post daily. I just kind of took a few days off here as of late. You know, not a whole lot to talk about there. I've been posting, you know, daily for over a year now on this channel. I also run another channel as well. So if you're a Rangers fan, definitely hit this like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a ton. I would really, really appreciate it. I love making videos for all you. Love talking Rangers, and just taking a few days off here and there, obviously, videos, but I'll continue to post daily once we get closer to this upcoming season. I'm definitely excited to see what this Rangers team can do. I'm really excited here. It should be a great season once again. Hopefully, we can see this team finally break the barrier there and get all the way to the Stanley Cup final and possibly end up winning the whole thing for the first time in a very, very long time. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button for more content. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.